I'm good. How are you? Happy
I'm good.
afternoon.
Yeah, happy afternoon to you too, and happy chewing lunch to all of our friends. Here we go again, disturbing people. And I wish that my internet at Mica was as quick to come back as some of these quick commerce companies who are facing some sort of speed bump. But I think you should speak a little more about it than I should. Maybe set it up, and then we can explore this subject a little more.
Yeah, sure. So in the last few years, we've seen a very big growth of the Q-commerce industry as a whole. We've seen since 2022, there has been a 24 times growth in the order value. Year on years, we are seeing the user base doubling. Right there for 2025, there is an estimated extrapolation of the market at $7.1 billion. And quickly, q-commerce is taking surpassing e-commerce platforms like Amazon, that at one point were considered as the giant of the industries. Nobody could touch them, and now Blinkit has started delivering electronics, started delivering stationery, anything that you can think of. And it has forayed into the cafe side of things also, apart from their food delivery ecosystem. So it seems that sort of q-commerce is now an unstoppable force going forward. But there is also another side of the coin where it is estimated that quick commerce will quickly lose its, there is a very limited total addressable market in India, where the term called India 1 Alpha, right,
Yeah.
which is the main metropolitan cities, make up for only 8 to 10 million of population per household, right? So now, once the q-commerce has already captured or penetrated into this market, the tier 2 3 cities or 3 4 cities, they will not be able to deliver the kind of unit economics that will bore well with these q-commerce trades, right? So this is where we are thinking that q-commerce is going to hit a speed bump in the coming few years. We saw a similar trend with Zomato at one point, where it was estimated that it'll get MTU numbers around 32 million by 2025, and now the estimate is around 20 million, and for 26 it has come down by 20 million in itself. So
Yeah.
I think we are seeing a similar kind of growth map for quick commerce, which is not going to be as much of a growth map as is estimated by the market standards right now. So what is
Yeah,
your take?
no, this is really interesting. So I have got so many different mini takes on it. So the first one is that I don't know, time moves slower in tier two and tier three cities where expansion takes place. So if time moves slower, then quick commerce is not that big a value proposition. Okay, so and not just from the supply side, the unit economic side, but also from a demand side, I really doubt whether it is going to take over in tier two and tier three cities or whatever. Like your India One A, Alpha, Omega, whatever you call it, it's going to be a tough ride, right? So that's number one. Number two is, I think there's a mention of Kirana stores and how they can be co-opted into the system. Now, the thing is that Kirana stores can be quick commerce as well as Bhabiji, major Bhabiji oriented, how would I say, customer management or relationship management without the quick commerce, right? Just to do a WhatsApp to them and just call them, and they will be at your doorstep anyways within 10 minutes. So why should they sacrifice their already wafer thin margins to a quick commerce player? And there's a question mark over there. So that's the second take. The third take could be that maybe the metric itself may be wrong. The metric itself could be wrong about expansion, and that's a typical problem that most VCs push their founders towards. Like, okay, expand into new markets, new territories, rather than actually perhaps looking at a different metric, which is how do I expand my share of wallet with existing customers, maybe. Yeah. So that's my third mini take. My fourth mini take is, I think that there is an ample amount of disruption that can happen with a new player coming in, only which is weather specific, right? So the value proposition can be in the heat of the summer, order something at your home, or in the peak of the monsoons, do something like this. And it could very well be a seasonal play, but there is a lurking value proposition somewhere over there which can again threaten quick commerce players. Maybe that play itself has met its shelf life.
Yeah, that's the fourth point. That's a very interesting proposition, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to hear you expand on this a little more.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. All right. So I was just thinking, if I'm in a tier two or tier three city, why wouldn't I go when time is relatively slower to my Kirana store, right? I will only not go because I'm in maybe Jaipur or wherever and it's 45 degrees and I
hmm,
don't want to step out of my house. And I want
hmm,
it to be delivered, but I want it to be delivered quickly. And maybe it's ice cream that I want to
hmm,
happen very quickly. Okay. So then there is a certain use case over there. Now, or it could be, a rainy day in Pune, which I am, not wanting to step out off, and I'm getting some quick commerce. Again, this is loaded with ethical dilemmas. Like, okay, you are making those people go out in the heat and the rain, and you're sitting. So this way may not play out well, especially on LinkedIn and other social media. But there is a use case there. Now, I was just thinking that how fast do you want? So that play is done. So, right. If you can't expand because time slows down, then you're waiting for that time to speed up. So you're again stuck over there. So then what can you play? Maybe you can play on weather. And that I see something as working really well in, say, the UK, especially in the UK winter.
okay.
Yeah, because people order in because they don't want to step out. It's bloody cold. You have to wear layers of clothes, and then just yeah. So that is where I'm coming from. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, and especially the biggest problem with tier two, three, and beyond cities is the penetration, and this could be a very good penetration value prop of
Yeah,
how Q-commerce can make its stand in these markets.
yeah,
Crazily enough, I don't think that the major problem is that Q-commerce will not. Um, adapt to these platforms. The problem is that these cities are more of a laggard kind of an audience
hmm.
to get to, and this is a major mindset shift that any company, any brand,
Yeah,
or any product has to make for these markets. Now,
yes,
completely agreed that there is ample amount of time. The time moves very slowly in these kinds of markets. It's not like the metropolitan cities where you're always just rushing around, and
yeah,
so it is quite easier to, or rather, it's more of inertia that you go to the Kirana store to get your stuff. But interestingly enough, in the Indus Valley report by Bloom Ventures or something,
yeah,
they reported that there is a 50% drop in 40 or 50% drop in the going to Kirana stores and buying kind of a buying
yeah,
purchase of the
yeah,
customers. So
yes,
right now with delivery versus the takeaway stuff is mostly at the similar base. So
yes,
now if Q-commerce can build on this, build on the delivery mindset that is building in these tiers, then it might just get an upper hand over these Kirana stores the way it did in the tier one cities. Now, I'm not scared about the first mover that goes into the rural sectors. I'm more scared about the second mover who tries to go into it. Because the first mover will already have made a very big mindset shift in the tier
yeah,
two cities. Now, again, if you're asking at a very similar pace that, okay, leave Blinkit and come to Instamart, that's not going to happen. We saw that
yeah,
with Ola and Uber also. Even today, in the tier two cities, tier three cities, Ola is much more prevalent because tier one was predominantly and has always been a dominant Uber market. We've seen, but Ola then targeted the tier two and beyond cities, and now Uber is finding it extremely difficult to penetrate into these markets. Now,
right.
app ride has become very much synonymous with Ola. Nobody, even if they are going to order a Uber, they just say Ola book kar do. Right?
Category. It's become a category play for tier two and tier three. Yeah, and it's quite
Exactly.
likely that the number two, you're giving free consultancy to the number two, player in the quick commerce thing because that's what they should be doing, Jahnavi. I'm completely in agreement with your observation. So who knows? Who knows, right? I know that we are coming close to the end of our day's play because it's almost 10 minutes, but who knows, right? One is whether this will be disrupted by something else other than time. Okay, or will the number two in urban plays become the number one in rural or tier two and tier three plays? Who knows? Who knows? or will a kirana store suddenly start becoming a power player? Who knows? But let's watch this space as we go. Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Anything more to add, Jahnavi, or we are done for the day?
I think time will tell, because if we continue this conversation, we can go until hours. There's no end to it.
No, and apparently quick commerce is supposed to happen within 10 minutes. We have gone beyond 10. All right. On that happy note, have a happy lunch and day, guys. All the best for your weekend. Enjoy life.
Keep ordering. Blinkit needs you.
Bye.